Welcome back. It's been 3 years since Hyundai launched the i20 and 3 years hence, the little Korean hatch is beginning to show its age. Hyundai took the car back to the drawing board and out popped the 2012 model. Kailash Menon's got more.
Now I still remember when the i20 was launched, people used to grumble and complain about the steep sticker price. They'd be like, why buy an i20 when you could pool in a little more money and get a proper 3-box saloon? Well, it's a valid point considering the cost-conscious Indian consumer. But my point is, why buy a proper 3-box saloon when this is all the car that you'll ever need?
Yup, going by the sheer numbers on the roads, the i20 sure has cracked the price prejudice. As for the new one, Hyundai has jabbed it with the fluidic design dart, loaded up with goodies and tinkered with the motor too.
No, they haven't put anything bigger under the bonnet, but they have made the existing 4-cylinder 1.2-litre engine much better.
Method to their madness, a little something called the dual variable timing valve train.
Now in plain English, it is an assembly installed on the camshaft that basically varies the valve timings of both the intake and exhaust valves as per the engine speeds. As a result, you get more power and more torque at all engine speeds.
So now the same 1.2-litre 4-cylinder petrol motor cranks out a respectable 84 bhp. That's a 4 bhp increase when compared to the 80 bhp output of the earlier car. The torque, however, at 114 Nm remains unchanged. But has that marginal power bump made a difference?
Now to be honest with you, not really. I mean, I can't feel any difference. It feels much the same like the earlier one, and that's majorly because the increase is a measly 4 bhp. But what I can tell you is this car is a lot more refined than the earlier one. It is smoother and it is quiet as a cat.
And like the earlier car, this one too retains the city car characteristics.
It's got a light clutch, a light steering wheel and snappy gear shifts. It's easy to maneuver around town and easier to pull into tight parking spots. The only flaw is this is not that great a car when you compare it to a Swift. But then again, it's got a strong mid-range, especially from speeds to 20 to 80. That's the speeds that you usually do in a city. So as far as your city chores are concerned, the i20 will take care of them all.
So if you're within the city confines, it's perfect. But as soon as you get out, glitches start to emerge.
The trouble is, the top end tapers down pretty rapidly. The moment you cross speeds of 110, the i20 starts to get a bit wheezy. And there's no other way than to work the gears on the highway. So here's the thing, if you do a lot of interstate travels, I suggest you go in for a diesel i20 because that's a lot more highway friendly.
And making up for the missing oomph is the fluidic flare.
Now the design is more evolutionary than revolutionary. There's nothing radical up here, but there are a few changes. For starters, the squinty wraparound headlamp is pretty nice. These trapezoidal fog lamps down here and the radiator grille. All in all, it has replaced the whole cute Bugsy look of the earlier i20. This thing is slicker, it's sharper and dare I say, a bit hot hatch.
At the rear you get a spoiler and combination tail lamps, and once you get inside, you have tons of space.
Now on the space front, I have to say this is all the space that a family of 5 would ever need. As you can see, it's got a generous boot, and when you go to the rear bench, I'm happy to report it's pretty roomy in here too. Adequate knee room, ample headroom, and 3 people side to side is not going to be a squeeze. So if you have 3 overgrown kids, throw them side to side and they'll fit in snug, and if they don't, then you need to monitor their portions of food or enroll them into a PT class or maybe both.
At 6.66 lakhs, it is a bit steep, but here's the good news. The new Gen i20 is packed to the gills with goodies.
Yes, it is pretty loaded. It's got 6 airbags for safety, it's got remote keyless entry, it's got reverse parking camera, rain sensing wipers, electrically folding mirrors, and for your music, you have your aux and USB ports. But here's the best bit, all these above mentioned features come as standard equipment on the Astra trim.
So, should you buy one?
Now if you want a pocket rocket or a hot hatch, this is not your ride. But if you want a safe, spacious car which is adequately stylish and comes with a sprightly motor, the Hyundai i20 might just fit the bill.
We're moving now from the functional i20 to a car that's completely impractical, yet, if you love motors as much as we do, so desirable. Yep, we're talking about a convertible, the Mercedes Cabriolet to be precise. Here's me with that report. Now, the E-Class has a global reputation of being one of the world's best luxury business sedans. But with this E-Class right here, you can let your hair down, quite literally. Mercedes makes cars for all types, and with the E-Class, you've got the sedan, the two-door coupe, the station wagon, and finally, the drop-top Cabriolet, which is what we're driving right now. Two-door convertible it might be, but this is not a sports car. It's more of a cruise mobile, the kind of car that allows you to get your freak on. Now, under the longish hood, you've got a 3.5-litre petrol V6 that you'll also find in the regular E350. But if it's get up and go you want, then you've got it with this car, 276 bhp and 355 newtons of torque. Slip this car into sports mode, hit the gas, and you're darting from 0 to 100 in little more than 7 seconds. And that number makes this car pretty quick in our book. But more than the nippy acceleration, what I like even more is the sound that this engine makes. It's a sweet V6 sound, rumbly at low speeds, moving to a baritone when you push it hard. Now, like the regular E-Class, you've got a 7-speed automatic gearbox, which does feel a little too slow to shift. But if you need to let the dogs out, you can and should switch to manual mode, making this car feel much quicker and, dare I say, more fuel efficient. Ready, steady, go! Again, the Cabriolet wasn't meant to be a sports car, but it handles quite capably. Suspension settings are on the luxury side, but there isn't too much body lean under hard cornering. Naturally, all the sophisticated electronics are in place, like traction and stability control. The large ABS brakes are outstanding, and steering has good response and feel. Ready, steady, go! But then the big party trick with this car is the convertible roof. Since they're so rare in this country, people will look, people will stare, and the person driving it is gonna feel like a total star. And unlike a lot of convertibles, the E-Cab will comfortably seat 4, which means that your friends can share the experience. Pretty nice. And the price for that experience, a rather steep 75 lakh rupees, which is what you will pay for the exclusivity of a drop-top roof. The question is this: in our subtropical climate, does the E-Cabriolet make any sense? Yeah, about as much as a 6-inch high pair of heels. Not very practical, but so pretty. Ready, steady, go! That was our show for this week. We had a great time making it. We hope you've had a good time watching. Remember, you can catch the entire episode online at timesnow.tv or YouTube, or you could even join the conversation at facebook.com/timesdrive. Till next week then, ta-da!